Swift here for Our World Media Magazine. I'm here with former Councilman Hiram Monserrate. Are you the councilman that was famous for your free parking on Sundays?
That's right. It's Hiram Monserrate.
Oh,
That's correct.
Hiram Monserrate.
Hiram, yeah.
Is that true?
Absolutely. In 2005, I was the city councilman for this very district, the 21st Council District, and at the time, I introduced a bill to eliminate having to pay parking meters on Sunday. And the origin of that is that a group of church people from 72nd Street and Roosevelt Avenue came to me because they were getting tickets while they were in the church service. And I contacted the DOT commissioner and the police department, and basically there could be no guarantees that they weren't going to get more tickets. At the time, the commissioner said, well, I'll give you 2-hour meters. I said, no, 2-hour meters are not good enough. I need no tickets while these people are going to church. It's not right. They're serving, they're worshiping. Mm-hmm. So, needless to say, the mayor's office was not helpful. And so I introduced the bill. And the bill says simply, on Sundays, no one has to pay parking meters.
How long does it take for these bills to be passed?
Well, it really depends, right? That bill took a little more than a year, maybe close to a year. And the fact that when I first introduced that bill, people scoffed at me, like it would never happen, it's ridiculous. And one other council member said, oh, this is a stupid bill. And I said, I don't think it's stupid at all. And so we went forward and we galvanized the community. To make a long story short, the bill passed. And the mayor vetoed it, but we overrode the veto. But today in the city of New York, parking meters are free for everyone on Sundays.
That's wonderful.
And there's no parking meters and no tickets for the meters on Sundays. That's one of the things that I did when I was in the city council. So I know that there's a lot of politicking going on this year, 2017, but I would caution the community that when any politician begins to speak to you about all he's done or she's done, tell them to show you the facts. What are the facts? Politicians are notorious for taking credit for things that they really didn't do, or that were part of the entire body of legislature or whatever the case is. And they said, oh, they kind of like jumped on the bandwagon.
You are a Queens man?
I am Queens through and through, and I'm a big cheerleader. My wife bothers me. She grew up in Manhattan, and then later on she lived in Long Island. Now she lives in Queens, obviously, with me. And she teases me like how, I'm such a proponent of Queens. But this is my borough. Queens is my hometown. I live in East Elmhurst. I've lived in Jackson Heights and Corona. I've lived in every of the communities that I will be representing, hopefully with the people's support. And, this is my hometown.
Tell me 2 good things about Queens.
Well, Queens, number one, diversity, diversity, diversity. It's all here. We got great restaurants. We got great cultural attractions. And we have so much history. We're in my office right now, and if at one point the video camera can point up, you'll see there's several street renamings that I did also when I was in the city council. One, my personal favorite was the street renaming for Malcolm X. A lot of people don't know Malcolm X lived right here in Queens,
yes,
in East
true.
Elmhurst. And the fact of the matter is that not only did he live here, but he founded a school here, and this was the neighborhood where he raised his family. Historically, it was where the home that was firebombed was right here on 97th Street.
So it has a lot of history.
It's a lot of history. So what I did then, I think it was 2005, we did a street renaming, and we brought his daughters back. The 2 daughters, in fact, that he was carrying out of the house that tragic night. 2 of the daughters came here and celebrated with us the anniversary of his birthday, and also his contributions to the civil rights movement in America. Now, I grew up in Queens. I actually grew up first in Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
Jamaica high school graduate. And I also understood that being a person of color, we all have a shared experience in this society. And there is a broad history in America and in our society, and some of it not pleasant, some of it not good, right? One way or the other, our communities have faced discrimination, disparity in services, healthcare, education. Every social indicator has shown that our communities have faced challenges. But we need leadership that understands that doesn't shy away from that says the fact that our neighborhoods are being gentrified require government's response. And we're not getting enough of that currently from government. We're certainly not getting any of that from the representation that's currently here in the Jackson Heights, Corona, East Elmhurst community.
Now, sir, I'm from Corona, Queens. I've spent 30 years living in Corona. I have a lot of concerns. One of the concerns is about Lafayette City and something called affordable housing. Now, I had to leave Lafayette because I got sick and I wasn't able to afford the rent.
Very sorry to hear that.
I had 3 heart attacks, and Lafayette wouldn't work with me. I know they're not, here to help people that are disabled and stuff like that, but they are, because it's about community.
Should be.
And it was very hard for me to find affordable housing. I had to leave Lafayette to go to South Jamaica to get in a Section 8 apartment. Right?
Wow.
And my family still lives in Lafayette. I have my daughter, my granddaughter, my son-in-law, and their rent is not what you call affordable. They pay like $2,400 for 2 bedrooms.
It's amazing what they call affordable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if I wanted to go back to live in Lafayette, that's not what I would call affordable housing. So what is your definition, and when would you like to see some of the changes
Well,
made?
I think that you're really pointing to a very important issue, and one that's broader than even most people can understand. What's happening at Lafayette is that they have these MCIs put in, and they're raising the rents. And indirectly or directly, whichever way, they're gentrifying Lafayette. And that's what's occurring right now in Lafayette City. We need to be more proactive on the issue of MCIs and the fact that landlords can put a refrigerator or a cabinet in and raise your rent. But once that cabinet or refrigerator were paid for, the rent doesn't come back down. It stays up. And then on top of that, they do the normal annual increases that the Rent Guidelines Board permits. So that's a challenge. And that requires strong leadership that will stand up to the money interest, not someone who has been a lobbyist or who has been bankrolled by the special interest in our city and in our state. That's not the kind of leadership that's going to bring the necessary changes that we need. Our communities are under attack. There's no other way to say it other than that. We are being displaced, we're being priced out, and the government is not doing anything to ensure that there's affordable housing. Now, what is affordable housing?
Yes,
right?
what is affordable?
That's your question,
That's
right?
my question.
And I think that's a very good question. Affordable housing should be that you take the area, the area income for the neighborhood, and then you decide and you base that, those rents and housing costs on that. In Corona, roughly, the area median income is about $45,000 a year. Not 90 or 100,000 like in Manhattan or parts of Brooklyn. So we need to have rents that the people that live in this community can afford. That's why the importance of Willits Point. And that's why I have been a champion for the original deal that I was able to negotiate with Mayor Bloomberg in 2008. Now, I'll tell you, some reporters have said to me, oh, well, that was 2008. That's past. There's a new deal. A lot of things happened since you were in government. Yeah? Well, none of them for the good. None of them for the good of this community.
But now, I'm still going to challenge you on this. This affordable housing, is it for the middle class or is it for the poor? I mean, what's, affordable? We have people that only make $15,000 a year. We have people that make $18,000 a year. You have people that is on disability, Social Security. They're on a real fixed income. And I champion that to say those people need help.
That's right.
They cannot, affordable housing might be, say, $1,500 a month, but not for them.
Not for them.
Not for them.
That's right.
And they still have to live, they still have to buy food, and they're on this very small income, maybe say, I know some people like for $1,000 a month, that's what their income is.
And let me say, you are 100% correct. And then I would add to that the government, in this case the city government, the state also, and even the federal government, not that I think that we could expect too much from the current administration or the occupier of the White House, but we have a responsibility to meet the needs of those that need it most. In the original 2008 Willis Point deal, we had people who were going to be able to live there who made as little as $10,000 a year.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now, the original deal provided for 35% affordable housing on the 5,500 units, almost 2,000 units of affordable housing. But recently, literally days ago, we rolled out a new 21st century plan for Willits Point. We don't want a casino, we don't need a mega mall, and we don't need another stadium. We don't need parking lots. We need affordable housing. Our people need a place to live, and city policy should not be displacing people outside of the city. That's wrong. This is our city. You grew up here.
Yes, I did.
I grew up here. My son grew up here. All the people in this community, families have grown up in this community. We should be able to live here.
No, and I'm looking to live and leave New York City just because of the affordable housing. I've gone to Atlanta, I see a different style of living, but this place, New York City, is the Big Apple. It has all the communication, technology. It has
attractions.
Yes.
It's the place to be.
It's the place to be.
And I want you to stay. I want you to stay, and that's why I need to be elected to the city council so we can get affordable housing at Willis Point, and you and thousands of other people who are contemplating leaving don't have to leave.
That'd be wonderful.
I have one major objective in this race,
And
and
what
a
is
policy.
that? And what's that?
Build it here, 100% affordable housing. This is no holds barred. This is the fight that must be had in our communities, because if you don't have a place to live, everything else doesn't matter.
It's true.
So we need the affordable housing. That is what I will be championing, number one. There's a host of other issues. We have school overcrowding. We have issues of crime. We have issue of grime. Roosevelt Avenue and Astoria Boulevard are as dirty as ever. We have a lot of other issues. We have a large immigrant community that needs support. We have issues with the parks. But we got to get people a place to live that they can afford, so they can live like decent people. That's all everyone wants. A decent place to live, a decent meal, and a decent community. And we need that community center at Lefrak City in that area, which is the second point for me. We need a community center that will service our young people, our adults, and especially our seniors.
Senior citizens.
Our seniors in Lefrak City have no place to go. There's nothing there for our community.
But there was.
There was, and unfortunately, that doesn't exist anymore. So I think that we need to revisit, and we need to build a community center in that area near 57th Avenue in Corona, so that the people of that community can have a place. They don't have it, and it's not fair. it's really unfair because they're working, they're paying taxes, they're paying very high rents and left right now. They deserve a place to have some recreation, to have some programs, senior meals, stuff for our young people. You know, it's unfortunate. I'm a big proponent of criminal justice reform in general. But if we don't reach the young people, the children and the teens, before they make the wrong decisions, we're really making a grave mistake. We have to give them options. We need to give them mentoring, tutoring where we can. We have to do that. It's not being done. It's just not being done. It's almost non-existent.
And you're the man that to make it happen.
Well, you know, these are the issues that I'm going to champion, and I'm going to make it done. Listen, there's one thing that can be said about me. I am a hard-working, tireless, get it done type of person. That's who I've always been. And sometimes in politics I've ruffled feathers because I've been very independent, but I care about this community. I care about it not just in words, because there's plenty of people who out there, I was raised in this community, I love this community. Baloney. What are you doing, in fact, to better the quality of life of your neighbors and this community? Show me what you've done, and then tell me what you're going to do. And I think in that regard, I have a very strong argument to make to the people of East Elmhurst, Corona, Jackson Heights, and Elmhurst.
Well, I like what you have to say.
Thank you.
I'm definitely going out there and vote for you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to tell all my friends and family to do that.
Thank you.
You know, is there anything else that you would like to talk about about your re-election?
Well, you know, this is an incredibly important election year. There will be an election for the mayor. There will be an election for the city council, and the other citywide positions. I encourage everyone to go out and vote. If you need a voter registration card, we can go to you. My offices are on 100th Street and Astoria Boulevard, and also our phone number here is 718-874-6777. 718-874-6777. We're available, and we look forward from hearing from you.
Thank you. Before I close out, there's one thing that I wanted to bring up. A lot of people are incarcerated and they're being released. What's about their eligibility to vote? What's that status?
That's actually a great question, and it's one that I've confronted here in our community. Everyone should know that if you are what I would term a returning citizen, okay, that for whatever reason, whatever lot in life your situation was, and you found yourself incarcerated, or you found yourself out of our community for a temporary period of time, you're back now. And you have an opportunity, and you should be treated as someone who has paid their dues to society and now deserves a second chance to rehabilitate, reintegrate, and to be part of our community. If you've completed your sentence, you are entitled to vote. If you were federal or state custody and you have finished your term of imprisonment, you are entitled to vote. That is a constitutional, inalienable right. There's lots of people, particularly the right wing of the Republican Party, that wants to continually disenfranchise. You know, there was an author, her name is I believe it was Maxwell. She wrote a book about the new Jim Crow. And the new Jim Crow in America has basically been mass incarceration, where now over 2 million Americans are imprisoned every year. Tremendous, it's like 6 times the industrial nation's percentages of incarceration. The overwhelming people who are incarcerated are men and women, but predominantly men of color, African American and Hispanic men, incarcerated by the millions. And then when they're returned, there are many programs and policies in place to further disenfranchise them. That's wrong. And one of my main platforms and planks will be criminal justice reform and to support our returning citizens. So you are eligible to vote. If you have any question, you can call our office, and we're here for you.
Thank you for this interview with Our World Media. Pauline Swift, check you out soon. Thank you.